In your practice, I highly doubt people get the level of puffiness that a novice injector would get. Could you give the viewers and the injectors an idea of what steps the injector can take, or you recommend they should take, either physically or mentally, to understand why the puffiness is coming and what things can be done to prevent it? I appreciate there are many causes of puffiness, though.
Yeah. Puffiness or overfilling or migration, I put that under the same umbrella term. I would say, with respect to patients, as much as we need them in the interaction with the consultation, this is one industry where the customer is not always right. And by that I mean there's a heavy emphasis on assessment. So when you get to a certain level where you're injecting a lot and you have to make mistakes to get there, you learn that not every face is the same. In fact, there are 4 types of faces, 3 types of profiles, 2 types of vector, and 2 types of convexity. The minute you know that, you can look at somebody straight away and know what's going to work. If a patient comes in requesting a certain treatment and they're not suitable and the injector just goes ahead and does that, you're probably going to get puffiness. You're going to get migration. You're going to get imbalance. And actually, that's what we see. My advice to any injector to avoid that is candidate selection. That is the fundamental skill in this industry, not putting a needle in the face, selecting what somebody truly needs. It's a prescription. Somebody comes in, they're type 1, class 2, negative vector, low convexity. I know over the phone what I'm going to do. Whereas an average injector who's not knowing that is going to mess up.
And when the average injector or a novice injector, when they see someone, it takes a long time to do that. Because sometimes when it's brand new and you've got the algorithm, you've got to work through it. Both of us now, I think we can look at a patient in about 5 seconds, and without even saying it, we just know.
We know it works.
Exactly. I have to say, patients, I've seen patients think they were shortchanged. Because we only spent a very few number of minutes or less than a minute to look. But that is all we need when you're experienced. It doesn't take long, does it?
Not at all. I mean, like I said, it's with any craft that you've mastered, when you do so much of it, the rest of it is conveying it to the patient. We already know in our minds what's going to happen. And there are 2 ways to really classify injectors. Some are very technical. Many injectors are very safe.
I know exactly the type that you mean,
And they're more fearful about it going wrong, or, yes, the patient picks up the mirror and there's no vascular occlusion or problem. But where's the difference? Then you've got non-medical injectors, as much as I oppose them doing it, I've seen them inject better than plastic surgeons.
I completely agree. Some of them are so dedicated because they get discriminated against. Their knowledge has become fantastic.
And their skill is better.
And
their artistic assessment is better. But complication rates tend to be higher in non-medics because of anatomical awareness. So what you want is that perfect marriage of being clinically safe, medicalized, but visually artistic. That's the marriage that you need in this industry. That takes years to develop.
100%. And I think that artistic thing, this might be controversial. You've obviously taught a lot of people specifically in fillers. You taught way more people than me in specifically fillers, in fact. My opinion is, when it comes to the technical side, you can teach that to people as long as they've got some level of manual dexterity. But when it comes to the artistic side, I think some people at best at least are going to really struggle because they just can't see it.
They can't.
And they have to turn it into math, which is fine. But I don't think you should look at the face necessarily always as mathematical equations. And the main reason is, I think this: if you want to figure out where to put your needle, you draw a line from here to here and here to here, and where they cross, you go in, etc. I get that, I understand, and you need to start somewhere. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you need these 4 points to figure out where they cross, how do you know those 4 are in the correct place? And if they're different on each side of the face, do you follow them or do you compensate? And I think these questions need to be answered. And that's why if I'm going to be mathematical, I prefer to use fixed distance, which doesn't change as we age, which is the interpupillary distance, which gives you a rough proportion number for the face. Because you can have that a fixed distance, but the mid third be longer, lower third be shorter. And if you increase that chin length to be the same, they could have a massive face by that point. So I think that level of artistry, please tell me if you agree or disagree, I think some people are just not going to have it to the degree that's needed to be a great artistic injector.
Completely agree. Anyone can look, but not everyone can see.
Oh, that's a great way of putting it.
And there are people out there that's why Botox is so easy. You put a needle on the face, you look at the instrument, 5 units here, 5 units there, copy paste. You don't even need to look at your patient. If you are too technical, if you are too numbers driven, I have to get 120-degree nasal tip, I have to get a 90-degree bicommental. You're going to focus on a mathematical proportion rather than a customized individual. So being aware of that is important, which some injectors even aren't. but applying it customized, very different. So you're right, completely. Being aware of the thirds and proportions. My advice really to any injector is, and those that really survive in this industry, they have some element of artistry elsewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's portrait drawing, I've been clay sculpting well before medicine.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yes. That's the Loomis method. So it's all about shadows and contours and angles and proportions. And it teaches you really how to appreciate the balance of a face, but it's about harmony, because there's a big difference between proportion and harmony.
Yeah.
Proportions are basically the size and the placement of your features in your face, like your nose,
yeah,
and your chin and your eyes. You can have a big nose and recessed chin, but it's more harmony is how you put it together and balance them.
Yeah.
That's what I think is more important rather than just a numbers game.
Yeah, it's that concept of, are these things worth more together than the sum of their individual parts?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if someone's face is mostly right and one thing is slightly out, but you augment that simply to, appease an equation, but then bringing it out makes it stick out more than everything else, you've now lost that harmony.
And do you know why that happens? Because most of the training that we see today is about finding that area.
Yeah.
So they treat the shadow
numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they treat the shadow. They don't really, they filter fill, they don't filter balance.
Yeah.
They look at that temple, there's hollows there. Patient's got a round face, but there's a hollow. They fill the temple.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the face is wider and the eyes are narrower.
Yeah.
So patients by default look puffier. So they're filling to fill, not to balance.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between filling to balance and filling to fill.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So people looking at just the area or location, many injectors, many beginners, many patients, in fact, are looking at areas.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Many artistic injectors are looking at the harmony of the face, how one impacts the other.
Yeah, and I think
that's why I think the biggest aspect of differentiation of injectors is.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think when you don't see that and you just put it there, the needle, you just put it there because you think some number is telling you to do it, I think that's one of the reasons people get puffy.
Absolutely. And the minute you address one area of the face, something else changes.
Yeah, exactly.
You do the chin, the jaw's impacted. Certainly the jaw's impacted, the bigonial width, the bizygomatic was impacted.
Yeah.
And the profile's changed. So people start like a domino effect chasing that.
I describe it as a Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
You can't move one square without a load of others moving at the same time because they're all connected. And I think it's the same with the face as well. And I think, when it comes to that puffiness, obviously it's not just the volume that they put in, but I think even staging treatments sometimes can help, because if you do it little bit by little bit instead of all in one go, which I think is better for a novice injector, they might come back and you think, actually, they look all right. Thank God I didn't inject less.